Good morning. Today is March 16th, 2026. Thank you for joining me for my weekly morning coffee and reflections. Today, I want to speak to those who are walking this road with me and to those who are just joining for the first time. Welcome. We didn't choose this path raising grieving grandchildren, but we are choosing to walk it with courage. And like you, we're finding our way one day at a time. Each week, this space becomes our breath, our pause, our place to keep going. And today, episode 4 is about you, the ones who stepped into the role you never planned for, the ones grief has drafted without warning, and the ones holding families together with love, exhaustion, and whatever strength you can gather each and every day. This episode is for every caregiver who has found themselves raising grandchildren in the shadow of loss and still choose to show up every day anyway. And if this is you, then you already know that your life has changed, changed forever. Recently, my granddaughter asked me, "Do you know my favorite number?" And I thought about it for a minute. I didn't know, but I said one or two. And she said, "No, it's one, two, and five." And I asked her why. She said, "Because mom's birthday is January 21st." And I said, "The number five?" She said, "Oh, that's because cancer took 5 years to kill mommy." And she said it so nonchalantly, but it hit me hard because she was only 5 years old when her mother was diagnosed. And I couldn't have imagined that she had been holding this on her tiny little heart, in her tiny little brain, that she had measured this and memorized this and seemingly locked this in her heart forever. And this to me says she was tracking this in ways that I hadn't even imagined. Again, as I said, she was only 5 years old when her mom was diagnosed. So I was taken off guard when she said that to me. But I don't think I'll ever forget her favorite numbers: one, two, and five. And then there came another moment where I think this is where my parenting 2.0 showed up in me differently from my parenting 1.0. For several days, this same little one, she came home from school and ran right past me when she entered the house, went straight to her room. Now, I can tell you, my parenting 1.0, that me would have yelled. I would have demanded her to speak each time she entered the room, and I would have shut her down before she got a chance to even try to open up. But I can tell you around day 3 is when she rushed into the house, and I followed her quietly. But when I looked in her room, I understood suddenly why she was rushing into her room. You see, for years, she and her siblings had always, upon entering the house from school or wherever they may have been, they run directly into the house, rush downstairs to get to their mom, to fill her with hugs and kisses. That was their routine, their rhythm, their joy. That's what they did every single time that they entered the house. And it was even more intense on those times when she returned home from a hospital stay. They would run like wildfire getting to her so they can fill her with what? Hugs and kisses. So when I stood to that room, I looked over to one side and I saw a framed picture of my daughter resting on one of the little one's pillows. And I asked her, what is this? And she said, this is mommy, and this is mommy's side of the bed. That gave me pause. It gave me reflection, and it also gave me understanding. She wasn't avoiding me when she was rushing in the house. She wasn't being rude or disrespectful, and she certainly wasn't shutting me out. She was just running to her mom in the only way that she knew how. But I did ask her, I said, you do know that mommy's no longer here, right? She's no longer alive. And she said, I know that. This is just mommy's side of the bed. So I didn't yell. I didn't correct her. I didn't make her take it down. I didn't tell her how she should or shouldn't think or feel. I just let her have her moment, her space, her time. And later, when her grandfather in South Florida presented me with a framed picture of my daughter, it was one that was taken from her obituary cover with a poem that had been added. This was given to him by his minister. Uh, when I received that, she did ask me for it, and I gave it to her. And I noticed that the next time I walked into her room sometime later, she had replaced the original picture, which was a picture of my daughter when she was maybe 11 years old as a cheerleader. This was a picture, the current day picture. She had replaced that, and it was now resting on her pillow. So I can tell you, parenting 2.0 means I don't shut them down. I don't rush them to grieve. I don't rush them to move on. I don't demand explanations for words that they may not have. Again, parenting 2.0 is helping me to look first, ask questions later, to observe and listen, and to let these kids show me what they need before I try to decide what they need, or before I try to decide how they should respond. And to accept that I'm dealing with children who are simply acting out of grief that sometimes just look like they're acting out just to be acting out. I'm learning to understand the difference. I'm learning to respond differently, and I'm learning to love differently. So I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever experienced moments like these? Moments that caught you off guard, that stopped you in your tracks, that revealed just how much grief or anger or pain that your little grandchildren are going through as well. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't had these moments yet, go ahead and brace yourself, because the silence is coming, questions are coming, attitudes are coming, tears are coming, laughs are coming, acting out in school is coming, and sudden outbursts, those are coming as well. But I can also say to you that all of this won't be happening just for the kids. Grief doesn't skip the adults either. It doesn't say that you're the caregiver now, so you're exempt. Nope. Grief comes in waves for them and for us, in unexpected places, unexpected times. As a matter of fact, that reminds me of a situation that happened this past winter in November when we were in Florida for our family reunion. This was that Saturday night while we were sitting at our banquet table. Um, I just had a moment where I thought to myself, if my daughter were here now, ooh, wonder what she'd be wearing. Where would she be seated? What would she be talking about? Just briefly, I had that little flashback just thinking. Because she would have been there. And out of nowhere, I just started crying, but not loudly, not dramatic, not to draw any attention. But my grandson, he noticed that I was crying. And he leaned over to me and he said, "Are you thinking about mommy?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, with the innocence and wisdom only a child can deliver, "Mommy isn't hurting anymore. Don't cry. She wouldn't want you to cry." And from a child's lips, from a child's heart, and from a child's mind, just a few quick seconds later, I was reminded of what my daughter told me when she said, "He is my special child. Don't let anyone put his light out." And she was right. So let me ask you again, have you had moments like these? Moments that made you breathe differently? Moments that reminded you that these children are carrying more than their age should have ever had them to hold. And whatever your moments look like, I really do want to hear from you. Because raising these grieving children will stretch you, will teach you, will break you open, will grow you in ways that you never expected. So to every person raising grieving children in whatever form your family looks like, please hear me. You are carrying a weight that most people will never understand. You're doing the kind of work that stretches the heart, the kind of work that tests the spirit. You're doing the work that God literally prepared you for long before you knew you would ever need it. And you're showing up for it with a strength that you, even right now, don't know or realize that you have. And even on the days when you feel overwhelmed or unsure, or you feel stretched thin, or like you're giving from an empty cup, please know you're still showing up. And that's what matters. Our families may look different, our stories may not match, but one assignment is surely the same for all of us. And is that's to love these children back to wholeness, one day, one moment, and one breath at a time. And together we are learning to breathe again. You are not alone. You are not unseen. You are not failing, and you are certainly not forgotten. Please remember this. And until we meet again, I'm going to ask you to please follow us, subscribe. Again, if you have questions, ask. You have comments, leave them. And until next time, have the best day that you possibly can. Thank you.